Hello everyone. It's James again. And today I want to talk about something very important. And that is complex post-traumatic stress disorder. And for those of you that are new, the difference between post-traumatic stress disorder and complex post-traumatic stress disorder is: regular PTSD usually is a result of a horrific event or events, such as someone going to war, and seeing one or more terrible events happening, and or being in such an event as well, such as having the enemy using weapons that go bang bang against them. All the while they are ducking and hiding and praying to God to not get hit. All the while they do what they have to do in war. And that is using a weapon that goes bang bang. Right back at the other side. And for someone that has normal empathy and love, not only fearing for one's life in these certain situations, but doing the horrible things they have to do while in war, weighs on them heavily and can totally mess up and change the innocent fun-loving nature of who they once were to who they are or who they became after going to war. Regular PTSD can also be: possibly you were mugged or attacked one day. Your life was doing great and wonderful up until that point. And then one day, you were attacked. Now complex post-traumatic stress disorder is having lot of little, big, medium, and all of the above bad things happening to a person throughout a certain time span and in some cases throughout their life. This is usually someone that is being verbally or emotionally abused. Someone that is picked on and mistreated. Someone that is denied normal love that a parent might show their child. And the child never got that love that would be normal for a child to receive from their parent. Possibly their parent put this child over and over again in one unsafe situation after the other. Maybe that child was put in tons of embarrassing situations and moments. And physical abuse can be added to this list as well. But it doesn't have to be there for complex PTSD to exist. And here's the thing. Narcissist might not know the name complex PTSD, but they know how to purposely cause it, so they can get their victim to comply and do what it is they want them to do. Now please know I'm not giving any diagnoses here. And if that is what you're looking for, please go see a doctor or therapist. I'm just sharing what I have learned and what I know. And that is one important sign that you more than likely have complex PTSD. And I think this might even overlap with those that have regular PTSD. And that is, it's very common for those that suffer such issues to recheck and overcheck locked doors. Meaning, it's time to go to bed. And you not only go around your home and check the windows and doors, but you will recheck them for 30 minutes straight. Tugging on the doorknobs for a few minutes at a time just to be sure. Rechecking the lock to make sure it's turned correctly. And tugging on the window locks several times in a row for minutes on end, just to be positive they are secure. The same can be when you leave your home. Once you've locked your door, you might tug at the doorknob a little extra and for a few minutes just to be sure it's locked. You might have finished this routine and start to walk away from your door and towards your car. And you turn right back around to recheck your doorknob again. You might do this 3 or 4 times before you might be able to walk away from the door and go about your day. Now again, this isn't giving a diagnosis. And if you think you need help, please find a professional that understands this stuff and that is someone that you trust. But please know the reason this is likely happening to if you grew up in a home with narcissists. Or if later in your life you ended up marrying or dating a narcissist. Or if you had all of the above happen to you. You were constantly put in situations where you were made to feel unsafe. You see, when we grew up in the homes with these evil people as our parent or parents, they were constantly invading our privacy and not only invading it, but making us feel horrible about it. There are many of us have stories of our narcissist parent walking in on us on purpose while we were getting dressed or if we were using the restroom. This is something that is almost universal for most of us that grew up this way. They moved things around and told us we took it. They hid things and made us feel like we were responsible. And we just flat out never felt safe. I've told stories where before How my narcissist mother would tell me and my golden child brother things she should have never told us that was way not cool to tell a young person. No matter if such things were true or not. And in my mother's case, they might not have been true. But then send us right out to go places alone where we could have been in the same danger of having things happen to us that she said happened to her. Now, I was lucky that nothing like that happened to me. But I was terrified many of a time growing up. And that's what the narcissist, no matter it be parent or not, wants. For you to be terrified and unsure of what is going to happen to you next. And what oftentimes happens as a result is you might start to develop some OCD patterns. And one of those patterns is checking locks over and over and over again. Now, though I believe this can happen to those that didn't grow up in a narcissistically abusive home, but later in life got involved with a narcissist. But I think the person that grew up in such a home has a higher chances of having something like this affect them and happen to them. Simply because when you are a child and growing up in such a home, you have nowhere you can turn. These evil people are your sole protection. And they make you feel like you aren't protected at all. I've talked about before being scared of what my future held. I was in slow learning classes my entire life. My narcissist mother did all she could to sabotage my education, along with my golden child brother. And I would try to talk and talk and talk with my mother about anything we could do as a family, where we could work towards a common goal of self-betterment for all of us. Because even if you don't have a lot of money, if a family works together for a common goal, you can tend to make things happen. But my mother had no such interests. Once I was of age and the support money my mother was getting from my deceased father was gone, she said to me, "Get out. You are going to ruin my chances of applying for assistance programs for herself." Here I was with no education, no marketable skills, and I was scared. I was eventually able to move forward. But I moved forward trusting more narcissists, and I had no idea what I was doing. I literally lived in panic most of my life. I lived in panic when going to school because I cared about my education. I just didn't know what I was doing. And it bothered me a great deal. I cared about my family even though they didn't care about me. And it was just so easy for my mother to throw me away like I was a piece of garbage and a pile of nothing. And it was easy for my ex Susie to treat me the same way as well. But I think what really messed me up was the insecure feeling I felt growing up. And I had an idea that rechecking locked doors over and over again had something to do with what happened to me and with OCD. But I then heard others talking about it. And I said, "My God. My God." And then the abuse really sank in. The abuse that happened to me really sank in. I was made to feel unloved, and unwanted and uncared for, and to be scared of everything and everyone, and not be able to even trust the fact that I just locked the door. Plus, narcissists, especially parents, love to mess with locked doors when growing up. You might lock the door, and when you return the door is unlocked. And without you knowing it, they unlocked the door before you got home, only to scare you into believing you left the house unlocked. Now I say all of this to say what I think happens with a great many of narcissistic abuse survivors. They go back and forth with themselves. Maybe the abuse wasn't that bad. Maybe the abuse wasn't really abuse. Maybe I'm just being overly sensitive. Maybe I'm just not strong enough. Maybe I'm the problem. Maybe. But here you are with these things that seemed built into your life. Scared your door isn't locked right, and it takes you darn near 30 minutes before you can walk away from your door and stop checking it. And once you realize that's not normal and that's the sign of someone that was badly abused and likely badly abused since they were little, then hopefully that will allow you to give yourself a little bit of mercy, and so you won't be so hard on yourself. And you will start to understand what you went through and the experiences you lived through were in no way, shape or form normal. And you aren't making a mountain out of a molehill. You were not only made out to be a loser your entire life, but you were made to feel unsafe too. Most people I know that grew up like we did have very little to almost no one they can rely on for help. And that feeling, even though you might be strong, that internal panic might manifest itself in ways like being scared for hours on end that your doors aren't locked properly. Again, if you believe you need help, seek it. But I want you to know, how you grew up and what happened to you was not only wrong, it was evil. It was evil. And I want you to love yourself and do the best you can each and every day of your life. And if you have hard days, be understanding and loving towards yourself. Well, I think this is a good place to stop. Please let me know your thoughts. And subscribe and share if you can. With that said, I do hope your day is blessed. And until next time, bye for now. And be good to yourself.